Assa dudes, welcome back to another video. As you may or may not know, in the last video we unveiled the new project for the channel. It is a 1993 single cab Ranger. What you may or may not know about this is this truck is actually my very first truck that I bought, and I had it for about 2 years and then sold it to Ryan a long time ago. It's probably 5 years ago now. Yeah. But the plan for this thing was always to build it up, and now it's finally happening. So we got a good parts pile for this thing. Today we're gonna focus on getting it torn down. We're gonna get obviously the battery and all the stuff that we don't need up here taken out. The stock inner fender wells, literally everything up here that we don't need is getting ripped out. So we got Ryan over here getting the battery out. Getting the stock battery tray out. I'm gonna start over here and get the radiator coolant overflow and the windshield wiper washer bottle out of there. And then we're just gonna start tag teaming this thing. All right, so I got that windshield wiper fluid and coolant overflow out of the way. Started just pulling these wires up off of the stock inner fender well. I have a bunch of these just little clips holding them in. So we're just pulling those out. Ryan's over here getting all these connectors and stuff that go to the main harness pulled up off the inner fender well on this side. How long until we have this thing fully apart?
A couple hours, maybe?
I'm thinking like an hour, dog. We got it. Yeah, fully torn down. Beams, radius arms, everything's off of it.
Yeah, just an hour.
Yep, yeah, we got it.
Good for sure.
No, we'll probably be at this for a couple hours, but we want to go slow, make sure we're doing everything correct. We're just making sure all the grounds that are connected to the stock inner fender well are getting marked. That way no grounds are missed when everything goes back together. Just the stuff that you want to make sure you're taking precautions of. That way you don't have any wiring issues down the road. Now that we've got this somewhat done, I think what we're going to move on to now is we still have the wheels and tires on the truck. We're going to measure from the center of the front wheel to the center of the back wheel on both sides, just to get measurements from the stock, what it is now, just so I can kind of roughly base that when I start to set the beams and radius arms on the truck later. So we're gonna take measurements, and then we're at a point now where we can get the front tires off the truck and we can start getting the inner fender wells and the fenders off. So we're making some progress on the truck. I don't know if my brother just put in the clip or not of us just trying to get the front wheels off the truck, but a Ranger is definitely a lot smaller than an F-150, and I'm not used to how small these things are, so we had to get a little bit more creative. And instead of using these big pipe stands, we're just using some blocks of wood and some jack stands, and that should work perfectly fine. Right now Ryan's getting the front wheels off. Say goodbye to those little 31s, dog. Yeah, boy. Little baby tires. So we got the wheel off. You can kind of see what we're working with a little bit better now. What we're gonna be removing is the stock inner fender well needs to go, as well as the stock fender. The coil bucket is gonna need to be removed off the frame rail. We gotta grind some rivets off. The spring itself is coming out. The shock is coming out. These stock brake lines right here are coming out. Those need to be extended. We're probably gonna do some hard lines down the radius arms once those are all put on. This sway bar needs to come out completely. The steering is also getting replaced. We're doing single swing steering on here instead of the stock steering. The beam mounts need to come off, that cross member down in there, right here, as well as the stock beams, obviously. The radius arms need to come off. Radius arm mounts. The new radius arm mounts actually bolt right there where that trans cross member bolts up to. That comes out, and then the new radius arms bolt right up to those holes, so we know exactly where it goes. And then I'm just gonna have to build a new trans cross member that goes in between the mounts once the mounts are actually on the frame. So we definitely got a little bit of work to do, but we're making some progress. You pumped?
Pumped, so pumped.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Good progress.
Trans in here, getting the stock inner fender well out. Couple bolts holding it in. Stock plastic inner fender well does not hold up when you go to a bigger tire. especially when you go to a beam and a coilover and the tire bumps way higher up into the fender well than stock. It just eats the crap out of this stock fender well, so it's gotta go. Ryan, is this the first time you've ever torn that truck down like this?
Yep.
What do you think? Is it fun?
Totally. Especially because I'm putting new stuff on, so.
I don't know why Ford ever did this, but every single bolt on this truck seems like it's a different size, and it's always a random size bolt. So we've just been fighting with different size sockets and trying to figure out the right size sockets for everything, but it's all coming together. There she goes. Stock inner fendy delete. To the junkyard pile. So now that we got the inner fender wells off and the tires off, we're working on getting the fenders off themselves. So to do that, we got to take the front bumper off, as well as the corner lights, the headlights, some of the little bezel pieces, the grille itself, because there is some hidden bolts in there. As you can see, it's raining pretty good right now. So I think I'm gonna set the camera down. We're gonna get some of this stuff knocked out, and then I'll get back with you guys in a little bit. Just as a little side note, check this out right here. 31-inch tire next to a 39. It literally dwarfs this thing. That's insane. Ryan's working on getting the shocks and all this stuff taken out of here right now so we can get the beams and radius arms out of here. And then we'll be able to start cutting this stock coil bucket out of the frame, and we'll be moving along. Sure does look a whole lot different, doesn't it? Day and a half worth of work. We got this whole front end basically torn down. I've been working on getting the beam mounts and radius arm mounts cut off the frame. They're held in with a bunch of rivets, which suck. If you've ever dealt with any of this stuff before, you know grinding rivets off the frame is not the funnest thing in the world. So been working on that. Got all the radius arm mounts, the cross member that was underneath the motor right there for the old radius arm mounts, that's all gone. The beam mounts, the stock beam mounts are now gone. I need to get the new ones bolted up in there. The stock steering is gone as well as the cross member that was up in front of the steering. I had to cut that out because that was going to be in the way of the new swing set steering that's going to go on here. And then I got the frame rails kind of just sanded down a little bit. I still need to go back over them with a DA sander and get them looking good. I'm going to end up plating the whole frame rail in here from the body mount all the way to the core support mount right here. So this whole thing will be nice, one piece of metal. It won't have a bunch of cheese grater holes in it. As far as everything else goes, I do still need to cut this stock inner fender well out. What I'm probably going to end up doing is keeping about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the very top and coming down and just cutting a straight line all the way across. And then below where I cut, I'm just going to run a piece of 1-inch tubing and just have that be the bottom of the inner fender well. I think it'll be a lot cleaner. And the way these inner fender wells are set up on these Rangers, they are all molded into the truck. Like I said before, instead of like how the OBS F-150s are, where the inner fender well you can see comes completely out, and then I just added some tubing in there. So these are a little bit different, but we'll make do with what we got. I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. We definitely got a lot of stuff torn off the truck in the last day and a half. In the next video, hopefully we're gonna be working on getting some stuff put back onto it. Until then, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.